Research has shown that Nigeria's livestock subsector has economic potentials of over 33 trillion naira. In spite of this, the livestock subsector has remained largely underdeveloped over the years. The present administration is, however, poised to change that with its determination to make the agricultural sector an alternative revenue earner for the country. To this end, quite a number of programs are being initiated to develop the livestock subsector in Nigeria. Our focus tonight is to highlight some of these programs as well as evaluate their impact. But before then, we will take some news from the agricultural sector. I am your host, Gabriel Ojile. Welcome to the program Transforming Agriculture in Nigeria.
What we did here is mechanized.
It's back to land, back to agriculture.
I can supply the milk factories for milk.
That's the new norm for employment and for wealth creation. Get your piece of the action.
Before farming, we will spread the manure.
There to take on agribusiness.
They have been working in terms of making sure they give us new breeds.
Seize the opportunity you have been waiting for. Watch Transforming Agriculture in Nigeria, showing every Friday at 8:30 p.m. on the NTA network service.
In our lineup, National Directorate of Employment trains 50 agricultural extension agents in Borno. Also, Lagos State Government to establish 32 agri-projects in schools. In a bid to create jobs and educate farmers on modern agronomic practices, the National Directorate of Employment (NDE) in Borno State, under its Rural Employment Promotion, recently trained 50 youths and women as agricultural extension agents. Speaking during the graduation ceremony of the training program held in Maiduguri, Director General of NDE, Abubakar Nuhu Fikpo, who was represented by the State Coordinator of NDE, Mero Betara Aliyu, said that the objective of the training was to reduce rural-urban migration of tertiary school graduates by preparing them to serve as agri-extension officers. The State Coordinator noted that agricultural extension services plays a crucial role in boosting agricultural productivity, increasing food security, improving rural livelihood, and promoting agriculture as an engine for economic growth. In an effort to promote agriculture in Lagos State, the state government says it will establish 32 agricultural projects for schools across the state through the Lagos Agricultural Scholars Program. The State Commissioner for Agriculture, Abisola Olusonya, disclosed this recently during a meeting held at the Agricultural Complex in Agege area of the state. Olusonya, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Hakeem Adeniji, said that the 32 projects will be in slavery, rabbitry, grass cutters, and goat rearing. Olusonya added that the initiative was organized as part of the ministry's youth empowerment scheme designed to expose students to modern agricultural skills and farming methods with the aim of empowering them with sound practical knowledge of agriculture. The idea is to complement the theoretical aspect being taught in the classrooms and also assist schools to, among other things, generate income, ensure food security, and mitigate possible effects of global food crisis. The livestock subsector holds a lot of potentials that, if properly tapped, can contribute immensely to the nation's economy. And to properly tap the potentials of the livestock subsector in Nigeria, the federal government, through the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, has developed lots of policies and programs. What are these policies and programs? Have we achieved the desired result in the livestock subsector? We will answer these questions in our next segment, Records of the FDA.
Cattle, sheep, horse, goat, pigs, rabbit, among others, are some of the livestock raised by farmers across the country. They are raised primarily for the production of meat, milk, leathers, and other uses. A 2017 data from the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development indicates that Nigeria has 76 million goats, 43.4 million sheep, and 18.4 million cattle, in addition to small and large ruminant. Poultry population in the year was at 180 million. To facilitate policy implementations that will enhance the livestock subsector in Nigeria, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development has a Department of Animal Husbandry Services. The department is subdivided into 5, namely Animal Breeding and Conservation Division, Commercial Ruminant and Dairy Production Division, Monogastric Division, Animal Feed and Feed Security Division, and Range and Pastoral Division. The Division of Commercial Ruminant of the Department of Animal Husbandry Services, Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, is working assiduously to enhance commercial production of animals for their meat and dairy.
As the general mandate of the department is to coordinate all livestock activities nationally, to draw policies, programs, and being on the concurrent list agriculture, we carry out projects and activities in the livestock value chains.
The Monogastric Division also takes care of development of poultry birds, pigs, snail, bee, among others.
Monogastric Division is the division in the department where we focus on animals with single stomach. And that is where we talk about poultry, pig, of course, maybe snail, micro livestock, then grass cutter. And of course, we deal with honeys too. So our mandate simply is to coordinate, promote, and develop the livestock commodity value chain around this commodity value chain, like the poultry, pig, snail, and all that. All the policies, the programs, and the interventions around it to attain self-sustainability, to attain self-sufficiency.
Feed plays a role in livestock production. The Animal Feed and Feed Security Division of the Ministry is charged with a peculiar mandate in this regard.
Our core mandate includes animal feed resources development. The second mandate is utilization of non-conventional feed. The third mandate is developing operating standard procedure for animal producers. In total, we are to see how farm animal will be produced in such a way that the economy will be okay.
The Animal Breeding and Conservation Division of the Ministry is charged with the mandate to preserve the animals and also to improve on the indigenous ones for optimal performance.
One of the mandates of the department with respect to this breeding and conservation is improvement in the livestock value chain of the department. So breeding is an important aspect of production.
To develop and make more progress in the subsector, the government introduced the Livestock Transformation Plan in 2019. These, among other things, are to provide a roadmap for modernizing livestock production using a mix of nomadic, crossbreed, and ranching that will serve a modernized dairy and beef processing industry. To develop a plan for resettling and addressing key conflict zones using agricultural modernization process, and to provide mechanism for peaceful dialogue and reconciliation in the affected communities.
The National Livestock Breed Improvement Program, NABIP, is a kind of a program that's supposed to use in transforming the livestock value chain in the country, because that program seeks to improve the genetic potential of the indigenous breed such that they can increase in meat production and meat yield. So that is what the program is about, and it will also enhance the livelihood of the pastoralists who are in this occupation, because more milk means more money to them.
Crossbreeding of indigenous animals with hybrid types helps in improving the performance of the animal for meat or milk production. To achieve a total transformation of the livestock in Nigeria, the ministry flagged off a pilot scheme of the livestock breeding program in Kano in March 2021. One of the benefits of crossbreeding indigenous cattle, which the program intends to achieve, is to increase breeds that are adaptable to ranching and have high milk production through artificial insemination.
A pure breed of Holstein, for example, may not be able to survive our condition here because it's harsh for them. But a hybrid, which is combination of indigenous and the pure breed, has the chance of survival here because it's carrying the genetic potential of the indigenous breed. But in terms of movement, the federal government is trying as much as possible to limit the movement of the animals from one location to the other. So with this hybrid that cannot trek fast or trek far, okay, it will further help government to make sure that pastoralists are settled where they are.
Another area the ministry is working assiduously is awareness creation for herders of small ruminants like sheep, goats, among others, to upscale their production from subsistence to commercial level in accordance with modern animal husbandry practices.
We have created awareness about businesses that could be carried out in the small ruminant subsector. For instance, nearly all households in the rural environment in Nigeria rear either sheep or goat. But why are they rearing it? Some do it for pastime, some do it for when they just need money, they just make quick money. But they have not really seen the potentials of really investing in these animals for the export market. That is even number two. The number one is for food security.
Similarly, the Monogastric Division of the Department of Animal Husbandry Services has also made lots of impact in monogastric animal like chicken, bee, snail, among others.
We have done apiaries, demonstration apiaries across the district. We have one in Osun, we have in FCT here, we have in Niger State, we have in Cross River State. That is for that, and these are places where prospective and even practicing honey beekeepers get capacity building to learn more. Then for the poultry, we have established, due to climate change, we come up with housing that will be adaptable to the situation. So we now have what we call climate smart poultry houses.
Aside the present policies that is driving the livestock subsector, effort is ongoing to formulate a new policy that will drive the livestock subsector to greater height. The director of the Department of Animal Husbandry Services, Winnie Lai Solari, tells us more on what to expect from the new policy when it is approved.
It's envisaged that this policy will clean up that sector from production, processing and marketing. So at production level, we'll be looking at breeds, increase in productivity of the breeds we currently have. We'll also be looking at conserving even our breeds for future use to avoid erosion of our genetic potential. And we also, at production level, will be looking at issues around feed, availability of feed all year round. For processing, of course, you know, we have a lot of multinationals that are in the country processing milk.
In case you just joined us, the program is Transforming Agriculture in Nigeria, and we are discussing the efforts of the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development in developing the livestock subsector. The Department of Animal Husbandry Services, with a mandate to develop the livestock subsector, does not operate alone. Rather, it collaborates with the relevant stakeholders in policy formulation and implementation. In our next segment, Partnership for Development, we are focusing on the collaboration of the department and the ministry as a whole with other stakeholders to develop the livestock subsector in Nigeria. Keep watching.
We try to avoid any chemical form of fertilizer or anything.
So from this place, what we learn here, that is what we take to our road.
I hope you are following the normal procedure of feeding. We'll be fascinated seeing things moving.
The genetic makeup of animals determine their production. To ensure that crossbred animals that are high in milk and meat production are made available to farmers, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development is working assiduously in training artificial inseminators and enlightening headers on the advantages of crossbreeding and the adoption of the technology.
We have done a lot of sensitization. In any state we are going, we do a lot of sensitization and create some kind of awareness for the farmers to let them know that this is the only way we can go to be able to improve our productivity, such that it will enhance their own livelihood as well. Now, when we get to the farmers and we train them on how to even manage the pregnancy and then the calf, we train them. Like you said, is this going to be a continuous exercise? Well, federal government is paying for almost everything now. And government is training artificial inseminators in most of the states, such that the artificial inseminators will carry this as a job on their own. At the end of the day, it's not like maybe it's going to be an annual event. If your animal is on heat now, all you need to do is to call the artificial inseminator.
The ministry is also making efforts to launch the National Animal Identification and Traceability System in collaboration with headers to register their animals for easy identification and prevention of farmer header clashes and cattle rustling. When this is fully launched, any animal that destroys farmers' crops can be identified as their movements are recorded through the digital technology which will be attached to ears.
Rustling of animal will be difficult because any animal that the ear tag is removed, and you cannot remove it unless you cut it. So anybody, both transporters, security men, they will be alert, they will be aware of the fact that if we see an animal that part of the ear is severed, it means that that animal is stolen. You need to hold the animal. Then in any abattoir, any animal you see that one of the ear is cut, you should know that it's a stolen animal. You cannot slaughter it. You cannot even buy it in the market. So these are the things that government is trying to do under National Animal Identification and Traceability System.
The Department of Animal Husbandry Services of the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development is collaborating with the National Animal Production Research Institute, NAPRI, in developing technologies to enhance livestock production in Nigeria. It also collaborates with NAPRI in the dissemination of the Institute's research findings. Animal research is, however, confronted by a lack of funds for research. This notwithstanding, there is a new policy in the pipeline to encourage special funds for research and private sector involvement.
The new policy, it has provided for improved funding. Not only that, it has provided for taking out the research findings that are in the shelves and taking it to industry. There's a limit to what the government can do about funding research. But industry can even do more than government. For instance, an industry that is interested in canning, let's say goat milk, goat meat, in canning it, will take these research findings and fund it and see how it's a long-term thing. It's not a short-term investment. Over the long period, how this money now could be generated from this canning industry, using the banks, of course, but it's more or less of a private sector challenge, not actually the government.
Standard is key in feed formulation. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture is working in collaboration with private feed millers in ensuring standards in animal feed production. And to ensure that standards are followed, it also works with the Institute of Animal Science.
We have Nigerian Institute of Animal Science. They are in charge to enforce all these regulations. They are regulators. We are the policy arm of the whole system, while the NIAS is the enforcing aspect of it. So when we formulate and we give out the standard, NIAS will carry it out, and the users are the farmers.
Quite a lot is happening in the livestock subsector. We will keep you updated as we keep track of the efforts of the Agri Ministry in developing the sector. Farmer Speak is up next, and we'll listen to the yearnings of a farmer who would want to do more for his poultry business. Keep watching.
I just want to advise government if they can help people, many people. But you know, in time of challenging of financial aspect, that is where many people lack, because it's not like maybe learning is to start. You see, some of them learn, but to start, there's no any way they can just start, and or maybe any this thing. What I just need from government, if government can help people, like maybe in like our own, maybe if they can bring people to us, we train them, then government can come in to assist them to start. I think we really appreciate.
Soybean is a leguminous vegetable of the pea family that grows in tropical, subtropical, and temperate climates. Soybean was domesticated in the 11th century BC around northeast of China. It is believed that it might have been introduced to Africa in the 19th century by Chinese traders along the east coast of Africa. More than 216 million tons of soybeans were produced worldwide in 2007, of which 1.5 million were in Africa. Africa exports about 20,000 tons annually. Nigeria is the largest producer of soybean in sub-Saharan Africa, followed by South Africa. Commercial soybean production on large farms also takes place in Zambia and Zimbabwe. However, it is mostly cultivated by small-scale farmers in other parts of Africa, where it is planted as a minor food crop among maize, cassava, groundnut, among others. Depending on the variety, soybeans can be harvested between 100 and 150 days after planting. Nearly 95 million hectares of soybeans were harvested worldwide in 2007, with 19 million in Asia, 3.5 million in the USA, and 1.2 million in Africa. Worldwide consumption of soybean is nearly 11 million tons. Africa consumes about 618,000 tons annually and uses another 4,800 tons for animal feed. Nigeria is the largest consumer of soybeans in sub-Saharan Africa, followed by Uganda.
Nigeria has a lot to gain from a thriving livestock subsector, as opportunities for revenue generation, job creation, and economic diversification exist along the value chain of the subsector. But this is the much we can take on today's episode of the program. Join us same time, same station next week for another episode of the program. Have a great weekend and bye for now.